I guess that Sherry was going to have you guys, some of you have to do some assessments this morning. So I'm going to set up, I've got a break room set up for you so that when Yvonne comes in, she'll take you guys aside and do assessments one by one, I guess. And the rest of us will work on the emails. I was reading your emails. Those are fun. Okay. So you guys just hang out for a bit while everybody starts to get in. I'll start letting more people in, and I'll take roll. Looks like Clad's here. Sam. Well, actually, I don't know. Let's see. Clad. Oh, he's joining. Okay. Clad, Sam.
Oh, this is unexpected.
That?
So, what's happening?
Larry, you're muted.
It kicked the Zoom off. So if you guys get kicked out, pop back in. Looks like
your screen looks completely orange.
That's because of my light. See, there we go. I'll just use my window light here. That gives us a little bit. That's a little.
Wait, your bedroom lights actually orange. That's funny.
They are. That's really weird. Okay.
Oh, let me guess. It's for Halloween, I'm guessing.
No, it's regular lights. It's
That's strange.
Weird stuff. Okay. Well, here comes my little boy.
Here you go.
I want to see the dog.
All right, Winston, stay here. Here, I'll show you. He's getting a treat on the floor. Let's see, where is he?
Aww.
There he is.
Cute.
Winston. He's deaf, so he can't hear me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's gonna be 17 in March. And dogs don't normally get that old. Okay, let's see. I got
back to your assessments.
Natasha, Tyler, Andrew, Jordan, Eleanor, Stefan. Those of you that are joining, I guess when Yvonne comes in, she's going to pull some of you aside. I've set up a breakout room for those that need to do some assessment. And she's going to pull you guys aside, and then we're going to take a look at the emails that you guys were working on.
Hello, Larry.
There's Clad. Good morning. Hey, Tyler, could you tell me a little bit about those emails?
Morning.
And how they got all set up? What was the context?
What emails?
Okay.
The email mentor?
Yeah, the email mentor, yeah.
Okay, well, wait, it's hard to explain. There's kind of a lot to it.
They were directed at, were they directed at you, or were you directing them toward a potential employer?
Well, no, we were directing them to a person that Sherry knows.
Okay. I'm still admitting people. People are kind of coming and going, so I'm assuming that hopefully Zoom's not popping in and out. Hi, John. Good morning. You're I've got it set up so that everybody comes in on mute, so you're going to have to unmute when you come in. We lost. Is Royce here? Royce, where's your face? It's showing you're here, but I don't see your.
He's probably waiting until it's literally 9 o'clock.
So I have two people. Wait a second. Come on. Oh, there's Yvonne. Wait.
Good morning.
Good morning. And then Sam. I forgot Sam. Anyway, we were talking, Yvonne, Sherry had suggested that you were doing assessments with people. And so during the lesson today, we're going to kind of review the email mentors that were put out. But while we're doing that, she said that you were going to pull people out to do some assessment.
Okay, so
there's a breakout room called assessments, and I just need a list of those that you need to do assessments on so I can put those guys in.
okay, so I have to find out because some of them, when we started that, we had more students doing the assessments, and then some of them had gone ahead on their own time and finished them. So the only ones I know for sure that need to be with me with that is Jonathan and Eleanor.
Okay, so Jonathan, hi, good morning. You just joined us. Good to see you. There's Royce's beautiful face. Good morning. And then Sam's here. So Jonathan and who was it? Jonathan and
Eleanor.
Eleanor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, let's see. It looks like I've got everybody on attendance. Let's see. I'm going to call out names and tell me if I missed anybody. Andrew, Jordan, Eleanor, Natasha, Tyler, Stefan, Royce, Sam, and Jonathan. Anybody I miss? Oh, Royce. No, I got you. Anybody? Is that it?
You should have 12. One.
Okay. I only have 9 right there, so.
And 11. I have 11 on my screen. Who are we missing? Devin? Oh, nope, Devin's here.
Devin. That's right. And who else?
Okay, Nathan. Is Nathan here?
Oh, Nathan's
No,
not here.
I don't see Nathan.
Okay, Nathan's not here. Oh, that's right. He wasn't going to be in today. That's right.
Okay, I'll put him down as
Yeah.
absent
And
and let them figure that out from there. All right, let me quickly go to these breakout rooms.
okay,
Yeah.
so who hasn't finished their assessment? I know Jonathan and Eleanor has not. Clyde, did you finish your assessment?
Yes, I finished mine.
Okay, so has anyone else need help with that assessment? You remember that big long one? Yeah, I know. You and Jonathan need to come with me. But this one here.
I used to, but I don't anymore.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I did mine, so I think I'm good.
Okay. Andrew, did you finish yours? Yeah. And then Devin, I know you finished yours, huh? Because you were the original one with me, and then you went on ahead and finished it. Okay, well, I guess if no one else needs help with that, if you all got it done, that's great. So send me with Eleanor and Jonathan then.
Okay, so
And then how long do we get? Please choose it. Oh, till like 10, 15.
10, yeah, 10, 20 or something like that. So let me put in Yvonne. Take Jordan out, take Devin out, put in Jonathan and Eleanor. Okay, so you guys are all three set to join however you want to pull them in.
Okay, I don't know how to do breakout rooms. I think you have to do that.
Well, I've set them up, so you have to just go to the main Zoom page. It should show. Let's see.
Okay, here we go. Okay.
Yeah, just ask to join or not. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. What did I do? I needed to put Jonathan back in. There he is. Okay, so just Jonathan has to join. Okay. Let's see. Where is John? Where'd he go? He disappeared.
Me? I'm here.
Oh, you're here? I just didn't see your face. I guess it's not popping. Everybody. Here, hang on a second. I gotta let my dog out. He's having a conniption. What is your worry here, bud? Searching for mom. All right. So let me pull up the emails, or the emails. Let me do a screen share here. So according to Sherry, let me open that up big.
Andrew has his hand up.
Yes, Andrew.
On my screen, I can still see Jonathan on my screen.
Me too.
You don't see Jonathan?
Yeah.
Let me see.
I see him.
That's strange. So do I.
Is his screen blacked out, or can you not see his screen at all?
No, he's still.
Yeah,
no,
he's still
there. Like,
here, but isn't
not
he
in the
supposed to be with
breakout room.
Yvonne?
Jonathan?
Oh, I see what you
can't
mean.
see him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, never mind. Never mind. No, I see him. He's right there.
Yeah, we shouldn't be able to see him.
He's moving. You didn't go in.
Oh,
there we
You
go.
go in.
He probably just hadn't gone in yet. All right, so I'm going to share my screen with you so you can see this these emails. Everybody see that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
This
we can see him.
This is the one we're going to take a look at this morning. It's called Hello, Anne.
That's my boss, by the way, Ann.
Oh, okay. Okay, so
Larry?
this email looks like starts out with "Hello, Anne." So, guys, give me a little bit of background on this. So, did you receive this? Is this a response to Anne?
Yeah, it's a response.
Okay, so this is a response, and this person said, so we're going to take a look at it, we're going to review it, and then we're going to kind of critique it and see what changes we need to make to it, okay? Says, hello, Anne, thank you for your timely response. I'm interested that you collected... let's see.
Try full screening it. There you go.
Let me move you guys out of the way a little bit here.
Can you guys hear my daughter singing in the background?
No.
Now,
Okay.
Okay. So everybody see that? I think the only word that's off there is profession. So we got that. Thank you for your timely response. I'm interested that you collected vintage toys. How do you get interested in collecting vintage dolls? And then at Project Search, I am researching safety procedures and COVID-19 cleaning
professionalism.
Professionalism, okay. Being well organized for daily tasks is your favorite part of your job. Skills are essential for employment of variety, challenges, and work-life balance. What do you think the 3 most important employability skills are? And then it just says take care. Okay, so since I can't see anybody, the only ones I have up here are Royce, and then Clad's hidden by his team.
That was my bad.
And then Tyler and Jordan. So John.
Yeah.
If you see anybody, just let me know.
Okay.
Who has hands raised or whatever.
I pulled it over. I can see everyone on the screen. So
perfect. So it says, thank you for your timely response. What do you think should go there instead of a comma?
I think.
Comma kind of seems right, actually.
Okay, Clad?
It's
well, the comma I believe is fine, but there should be a space in between the comma and the I.
Okay. Anybody else have input?
Yeah, space.
Stefan had his hand up a second ago.
Okay, Stefan?
I was actually going to say, what are those 2 dot things? What's the 2 dot things? The
colon?
laptop? Yeah, that. I was going to say we should put that, but I think Clad might be right.
Okay, well, I think everybody would agree we need to have a space there because we don't generally go from a comma to I'm without a space. My thought is that anytime you have separate thoughts, there should be a period in between. Are those separate thoughts?
No.
So one was thanking her for her timely response, and the other one was, I'm interested that you collected vintage toys.
I don't think that's necessarily, like, the beginning isn't necessarily a different response altogether, because this person is responding to what Anand was saying, so I would assume he'd want to start a conversation with a comma, because sure, you can start a period, but that'd be a really small sentence.
That's okay. It just depends on is it a complete thought. So if you put a period after any sentence, it has to be a complete thought. That's all you have to think about. So thank you for your timely response. So obviously this person is responding to Anne. Apparently Anne said something to her after she sent an email to her. That's why I was asking you guys, how this whole system started. It sounded like we're responding back to Anne, but apparently something happened prior to that. Was this an email that was sent out prior to Anne, and then Anne responded and said something, and then this person's responding back? Is that correct?
Yeah, we sent them a first email mentor, and then they responded. And this is the second one some of us sent to them, and then sometime this week Sherry is going to send us a third one to send to our email mentor.
That makes total sense, Jordan. Yeah, that gives me a little bit better perspective that there is previous correspondence in the email to Anne. Was the previous correspondence asking about a job?
Yeah, I can give you some insight since I helped Natasha with this. So Natasha wrote an email to Anne, and Natasha mentioned she wanted to work in Mattel. Okay. I'll let you, Natasha. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not upset. I was trying to find the mic. I was just trying to. This is the second one I was trying to reply back to, and I was trying to say I wanted to work with Mattel because I like fashion. I have the other one with me too. I sent it out, the first one out myself.
So you sent the one for yourself, and you mentioned you wanted to work at Mattel.
Yeah.
And then Anne said, "Oh, by the way, I'm interested in Barbies as well because Anne has a collection of Barbies."
Yeah.
So, and then this is Natasha's response back to her.
Okay. All right. So this email's from you, Natasha?
Yeah,
Okay.
I usually type it myself, so this is kind of
good. So are you good with us? I mean, I'm fine with just going over this. If you're okay doing this, I wasn't sure if this was an example.
It's an example, actually.
Yeah, I'm just kind of getting a background on where you guys are. So if this is an example and you're good with it, can we go ahead and critique it and take a look at how we can change things up?
You can do that. Okay,
perfect. Thank you, ma'am. So you're responding back to Anne and you're saying, thank you for your timely response. And so that's, as you begin an email, that's always a great intro because it references a previous communication. So you always want to thank somebody for a previous communication. It's very professional. You know, even if it's just simply, oh yeah, good morning, thanks for getting back to me so quickly, and then you're off and running with the rest of your email. So in this particular case, what we would want to do is we would want to basically put a period at the end of that where it says thank you for your timely response, and then you're going to go on to your second thought was, you know, you're obviously Natasha's very interested that she collects vintage toys as well. And then so now she asks her a question. How do you get interested in collecting vintage dolls? And so that's a good question that Anne may respond back to. Natasha, was that conversation in the previous email when Anne responded to you and told you that she collected vintage dolls, was that at the end of her email or the beginning?
That was in the beginning.
Okay. So
yeah,
oftentimes that's the other thing is that when you start an email, if it's in response to a very job related question or a job related statement, you want to start with that job related statement coming back in an email. It's professional. And then so you're actually answering the question right away. It can be, it depends on how formal this other person that you're having this communication with is. If it's a very good, you know, you've known the person for a while and it's still a professional communication, you can have a little bit more leeway to talk about more personal things at the beginning or at the end. You just got to be real careful that you're not doing too much of that. So this is not personal because she actually responded, and it's related to Mattel and toys and so on and so forth. So when I first read this, I thought, oh, it's interesting that they're talking about dolls, but without that background, I wouldn't have known that. So now that I know the background, it's perfectly normal to do that. So you're asking a question, so obviously you're going to get a response to it. Then you go on.
His hand up. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Stefan had his hand up.
Go ahead, Stefan.
I was just going to ask if I could go to the bathroom real quick.
Yep.
Thank you.
Andrew?
Also where it says vintage dolls, it kind of looks like there's like two spaces right there.
Yeah, so you see a green squiggly line underneath.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those squiggly lines are also, when you're writing, they will pop up in your emails. They will give you errors, if you will, on looking at it and making sure that you switch it. So after you type it up, it's always a good idea to go through and see where you've got green lines and red lines. It appears to me that the green lines need to have spaces condensed. That means brought narrower together, and the red lines mean they need to be spread further apart. Does that make sense, everybody?
Mm-hmm.
So when you see a green, you just need to scrunch it up a little bit, move things over. So like the very first, and when it's red, you need to spread them apart. So not only when you said thank you for your timely response, Natasha, you could also put a period there and then put a space. I'm interested. Start your second sentence. Okay.
I just thought the comma was right.
Yeah, usually commas are there for adding multiple lists of things to your sentence. So like, I really enjoyed having mashed potatoes, comma, gravy, comma, and steak for dinner last night. That's adding a list of things together. Another thing a comma is useful for is putting, now this is really tricky. So oftentimes you'll put a comma if there is what's called a dependent clause in the beginning of the sentence, and then you have an independent clause at the end of a sentence, and that's offset by a comma in between. Now let me tell you the difference between those two. Does anybody know the difference between those two? Let me ask you that question first. A dependent clause and an independent clause.
No.
Anybody?
I actually do, but I want to see if anyone else does.
That's okay, Natasha. You can go ahead.
Independent means you're talking about something that's independent, a cause of something in the sentence, and the other comma is for something that's personal.
Okay, so you're thinking about dependent and independent, and when you're saying a cause, it's actually a clause, so it has an L in it, and a clause is a segment in a sentence. Okay, so a clause would be, so if I started out, when we went to the store, that is a dependent clause because we have a subject and a verb, right? We have the subject, we went, or we, and then went to the store, or when we went to the store, by itself is not a complete sentence. So in order for it to be a complete sentence, it has to have something added to it. So that's why they call it a dependent clause. It's dependent on more information. That's always the way I kind of looked at it through my head, is that if we write a sentence, when we went to the store, well, if you just left that by itself, you're asking, yeah, when you went to the store, what? Correct? So when you say, when we went to the store, comma, we bought lots of Gatorade for the party. Okay, so that could be offset with a comma. So that's a dependent clause in front, and it needs additional information. That's independent clause. So that's another reason that you could use a comma to offset, to add additional information to a dependent clause. I know that's a big, long way of saying things, but when you can oftentimes start a sentence with when. That's kind of unusual, isn't it? To start a sentence with when.
Yeah.
That's the only way that you can start a sentence with when, is if you create it as a dependent clause and put a comma after when we went to the store, comma. Okay, so we add to that the independent clause, which is we bought lots of Gatorade for the party. We bought lots of Gatorade for the party is independent because it can stand by itself and make sense. When we went to the store can't stand by itself. It needs more added to it. So that's another way that you can put a comma in there. So like if you were trying to say to Anne, Natasha, that thank you for your timely response. I was really interested in that you collected vintage toys. You could just do that all as one sentence and it would all make sense. It would be two complete thoughts, okay?
Okay.
And the way you add that is instead of putting a comma, you could say, thank you for your timely response. And I was really interested that you collected vintage toys. So putting the and in there would be a way to connect those two thoughts. It becomes what's called a compound sentence. Does that make sense? There's more than one complete thought in that sentence. So putting a comma is not normal. Putting an and in there would be okay. All right. Enough. We beat that horse to death. Let's go on to the next parts. Okay. All right. So you went on to say, how do you get interested in collecting vintage dolls? We see the green mark there. We just need to pull it together. Pull vintage over one space and you're good there. And then at project search, and you see the green mark, we got to pull them together a little bit closer. So you just move the comma over. Here you go. You remember I was telling you about dependent clauses and independent clauses? Natasha, you just put it perfectly in that next sentence. At project search is what's called a dependent clause. Okay, it can't stand by itself. You have to add more information to it. So to see how you put the comma in there?
Yeah.
That's perfect. You just need to be over next to the H. But when you said at project search, that's a dependent clause. You can't stand by itself. You had to add extra to that. And so you said, I am researching safety procedures and COVID-19 cleaning. And COVID-19 cleaning, and then professionalism. Is that right?
Yeah.
So that's a complete sentence. That's a tremendous sentence right there, because you got a lot going on in there. You got dependent clause at project search. You just move the comma over and fix that, and then you say, I'm researching safety procedures. Instead of putting and there, go ahead and take the and out. And you say, I'm researching safety procedures, comma, remember when I was telling you lists? You're listing things. You don't put the and in until the end of the list. Has everybody got that?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody just raise their hand. Yep, I got it.
Yep.
All right. So when you're making a list, which is what you're doing here, Natasha, you say, I am researching safety procedures, comma, take out the and say COVID-19 cleaning, comma, then put the and in, because that's the end of your list of things. So you say, I am researching safety procedures, COVID-19 cleaning, and professionalism, period. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody remember that. The and always goes on just before the last thing you list.
Andrew has his hand up.
Andrew.
And also, the search has to be all caps.
At project search.
Mm-hmm.
And she did that. So
yeah, it's capitalized.
You got it. You did it.
The project search, the first letters have to be capitalized, actually.
I think what they're saying is the logo project search. It's the word search is supposed to be all capitalized.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's what Sherry was saying yesterday.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense.
Just this program has it like that.
Gotcha. I get that if that's how the logo looks and that's how it's presented. Yeah, that makes sense. In general, when you're naming something, you don't have to do all caps. But if, like in this case, it's a logo, then you do. It's a good idea to follow whatever you see as the name of the company. You follow however they do it, because they do weird things for titles anyway. But anytime you're naming something, as long as you put the capital for each letter for that project or title or whatever it is, you're golden. You're fine. Because by putting those capitals in there, you're letting the reader know that it is a formal thing. It's a name of something. And of course, you have to have a capital for that. It's the beginning of the sentence. So at project search, I'm researching safety procedures, COVID-19 cleaning, and professionalism. Being well organized for daily tasks is your favorite part of your job. Natasha, on that one, when you said is your favorite part of your job, you're asking a question.
Yeah.
Is that something that she said, that being well organized was her favorite part?
I was asking a question because that part you were asking a question, what was her favorite part of her job?
Oh, okay.
I was asking a question.
So
actually, to her.
You're asking this question to her?
Yeah. I was asking a question to her.
So I would suggest putting an is at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Is being well organized for daily tasks, and then see where you put is right there, put it at the beginning of the sentence. Because if you say being well organized for daily tasks is your favorite part of the job, you're making a statement, aren't you? You're not asking a question. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So if you put the is at the beginning, take it out of the middle where it says tasks and says, is being well organized for daily tasks your favorite part of the job? Then it's asking a question.
Is always indicates there's a question, right?
Right. Yeah. So that's anytime you put a is or are or can or any of those kinds of words at the beginning of a sentence, you know there's going to be a question after it. Exactly. What do you guys think about the next sentence? Any input from that?
Stefan? He has his hand up.
Maybe I'm just blind, but it seems fine to me. And maybe I'm just blind.
Okay, so essential is got a red line under it.
Oh, wait. I think I got it. Do you capitalize the E in essential?
Good try. No. Anybody else? Royce?
I think it's spelled wrong.
There you go. How do you spell essential?
I'm just only estimating here. Is it ESSENTIAL?
You got it. You just got to switch the A and the I.
Aww.
Yes, Andrew.
For one thing, I can see it right off the bat is skills, not capitalized.
Okay, good. Beginning of a sentence.
Yep.
All right. Skills are essential. So just Natasha, just capitalize skills and then essential. You'd switch the A and the I. Oftentimes when you're doing an email, like I said before, really go back and take a look at your reds and greens and see what you can do to fix them up. If they're not showing up on there, another thing you could do is ask somebody that's really good at English to take a look at your email before you send it out. You know, I'll share with you that as being a program specialist in the district, I had to write a lot of emails, very professional emails. Obviously, if I'm sending them out to large cohorts of people, like I had 14 schools and lots of different, psychologists and counselors and principals and teachers that were on those emails. So if I had to send out one that was to a large group of people, I would often have one of my colleagues take a look at it just quickly to see if they had time and I had somebody close by, I'd have them take a look at it to see if they had any input to it. Because even if you look at the heads of companies, department heads, things like that, they will oftentimes have a secretary who can do those things. And this is the interesting thing about emails, is that when in years past, anytime a memo went out to anybody, it was usually in writing, and it was a very formal thing where people would receive this memo on their desk before we had internet, before we had email. And so these memos would be read by the secretaries after the boss wrote them, and they would make corrections to it. Well, now that we've become so quick with our emails and we're able to communicate with one another so readily and quickly, we often run into situations where we don't, because it's less formal and it's so quick, we make more mistakes. And so anytime you're sending out an email that's going to be read by more than one person, I would recommend that you have somebody take a look at it real quick before you send it out. In this particular case, you're only sending to one person, so you really have to rely on yourself. You know, you don't, because you may send out multiple emails in a day to so many different people, you don't have time to have somebody take a look at it. So you have to really rely on yourself to look at the red and the green lines to kind of help you figure out, well, what did I do here? Did I type it too fast? And again, always read your emails before you send them out to somebody after you've completed them. Never write an email and not read it before you send it out. Everybody got that?
Right.
Okay. And
I agree.
If I'm hitting on stuff that you guys already talked about, all it does is affirm what the other person said. But at the same time, I want to make sure that you guys all understand that, so that you know, it's so easy for us to communicate with one another now, as you can see, or even it's like now we're even being able to do this kind of professional communication through Zoom and through Microsoft Teams and so on and so forth. So it becomes, there's more opportunities for people to make mistakes. So Natasha, don't feel bad about this, because when we go through this.
I actually don't.
Okay, good girl. Yeah, we're just really kind of taking a look at fixing some of these things, especially when you're maybe looking for employment. You want your employer to feel comfortable that you can communicate in writing with very minimal errors, so that they will feel comfortable in putting you in a position where you could do those kinds of emails, right? So skills are essential for employment of variety, challenges, and work/life balance. Any other input on that sentence?
I want to say something. Oh, go ahead. Does someone else want to say something?
I was going to say, shouldn't you space out challenges and?
So you got the red line there. That's an automatic. Anybody else?
I guess I can say something since no one else is.
Yeah, no, chime in.
Okay, so after employment, you could say for a variety.
Skills are essential for employment for a variety of, is that what you were saying?
Yeah, for a variety of challenges.
So let's take a look at that sentence and see if it makes sense. Skills are essential for employment for a variety of challenges. Does that make sense, everybody?
That sounds about right.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so. So now when you make that statement, you better be backing it up with, what are you talking about, right? So what are those challenges basically, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Natasha, that's what you do, is you put a period after that. Skills are essential for employment for a variety of challenges, period. Or somebody mentioned earlier, if you're listing things.
I'm actually listing things. So.
You were listing things? Okay,
yeah,
so.
I was listing.
Okay, so then you could also use a colon there, which is the dot, one dot over the top of another dot. And a colon basically means that you are now going to begin to list what those things are. You could either do it that way, or you could just end it with a period, and then you could say, for example, comma, and there's that dependent clause again. For example can't stand by itself, right? It's got to have the comma after it, and then you got to add the independent clause, the information that supports that. For example, and then you list, you know, what those things are. So you've got you've got one thing. Now, here's the thing, Natasha. You've got one thing that you're listing, right? It's work-life balance.
Yes, that's the one.
So, and am I reading right? What you're trying to say is that you've got to balance your work and your life. So can you be more specific about what you mean by that?
Probably have to balance it evenly.
And why do you want to do that?
Because then you can have more time with the people you care for.
Okay, so it's more of a mental health kind of thing, right?
Actually, it's just not mental health. I'm saying you spend time with your family.
Okay, so you're trying to balance work and life. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I would do is I would switch that around and just say balancing work and life. Or balancing, maybe balancing means balancing equal time for work and life. Andrew, what do you think?
We have this is a little bit off topic, I know, but we have housekeepers coming. So do you mind if I close my door real quick?
Yeah, that's okay. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Natasha, you're going to list one thing, so it's work, and instead of putting a little slash mark there, do a forward slash. You know what that is? In between work and life, just put a forward slash in there.
Oh, do a forward slash.
So take out that little line in the middle and then just put a forward slash. So it's works / life balance. And you don't have to go into specifics. I was saying that be more specific about, life and work balance. But I think you made your point. You made the point. If you say work / life balance, you make your point. But that's only one thing. So do you have anything else that you want to add to that? Because the way your sentence started out, skills means more than one, right? Are essential for employment for a variety of challenges, and you put challenges as S.
I was doing variety because there's different variety when you're going in there. I was just saying that there's a variety of different challenges.
Okay, so you're saying challenges and skills, so that means more than one, right?
Maybe I should just remove both of that.
The S's?
Yeah.
No, I think it's a great starting point. If you only have one thing that you want to talk about, and that's work-life balance, then you would probably have to rewrite the sentence to kind of just bring out that one point. But if you're trying to bring out more than just work-life balance, then your sentence is perfect. You just need to put a few of those words in there that we talked about already. So what did you want to say? Just about work-life balance?
Yeah.
So then I would just start that out with work / life balance is an important part of being able to spend time with your family and not whatever, and just say that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay. Anybody else have input on that one? Or have any other suggestion? That was my suggestion is either if you're talking about more than one, then you got to list more than one. And then the other one is if you just want to talk about just work-life balance, then make that the topic. Anybody else have input?
I think that makes sense in my book.
Okay. And then Natasha, you finished. Anybody else before I move on? Okay. And then Natasha, you finish off with, what do you think the 3 most important employability skills are? That is a great question, because now you're getting a response to not just one area of employability. You're talking about 3 areas of employability, which gives you more information. Andrew?
I think that's a question that was already there.
That was for everybody, right? To include in
Correct.
Your email? Okay. And that makes sense. What was I going to say? Oh, so the question I have for everybody is, How many questions were asked of Anne?
From the looks of it, just one. But maybe I'm just blind.
Okay, well, look through it. What's a big clue that you can look for?
Question marks.
There you go. So how many question marks are there?
3.
3. Never mind.
There you go. So in your response, here's something else about emails, guys, that I find very interesting. More of these informal emails that go back and forth between just one person or just between two people. I often find that, and this is not everybody, but I often find it's very interesting that not all the questions get answered. And it always drives me nuts when I send an email out to somebody and I ask multiple questions in my email and only one gets answered. You ever have that happen to you?
Mm-hmm.
Have.
Oh.
It happens. It happens to me all the time. And I'm like, are they reading my email?
I think people get caught up on the most important question you asked. And then they go on, and then they forget about the other stuff.
Exactly. So what do you think you should do in that situation? You've asked 3 questions, and you only get 1 response. Natasha, what would you do if you only got 1 response to your 3 questions?
Try to re-type it or resend it.
You could resend it. Would you say anything in a resend?
Wonder why they didn't get my email.
Why they didn't answer all the questions in your email?
I would say regarding the questions you didn't answer to start with.
So how would you professionally and politely say that?
Well, I would say thank you for your answer. Be polite, like the first few sentences, and then said, I still need answers on these questions, and then list the questions. Perfect.
You notice how they said, first you're going to always talk about the positive, right? Oh, it's positive. You answer my question. Thank you very much. Can you answer these other questions? Rather than starting out, well, what about my other questions? You didn't answer those. Well, that could be pretty kind of rude and turn somebody off. I talked with somebody, one of my bosses always told me this, and I want to share this with you. And it's very, very true. So always remember when you're doing emails, remember this. You never can fully understand the emotions that are in an email. Say that again. You fully can never understand the emotions in an email. And what I mean by that, anybody have an idea what I mean by that? Let me ask that question.
If I'm being honest, no, I don't.
Yeah.
Tosh?
I know what you're saying as because you're not in person, there's no emotion in it because it's virtual.
Exactly. You don't have facial expressions and you don't have tone, do you?
Yeah, you don't have the tone if someone's upset when you're sending something.
You got it. And so you've got to be very careful in your wording in your emails. And so in that particular case, you're pointing out the positive and then you're following up with the 2 questions. If you started out with, well, what about my other 2 questions? You could almost sound like you're frustrated when in fact you're not really frustrated. You just want to answer the other questions, right? So be careful when you respond when the email doesn't go exactly the way you planned it. Be careful how you respond because people can interpret it and you may not mean to be mean or disrespectful. You're just trying to get a question answered. So always start with a positive.
Yeah, they may think you're being mean.
Exactly.
With my boss is very direct. So when I first got hired, I was like, wow, I wonder if she's mad at me or upset or anything like that. And then I walked by her office and she's like, hey, John, how you doing? She's like, has a smile on her face.
That's
like,
very, very true.
I guess I'm misreading her.
Well, and sometimes, when you're trying to get a point across, it's really about getting a point across, but it comes across in an email in a way that you never intended. So just always be careful as you're responding. Any other? We've got some other emails, but we're already looking at, what time is it? A little after 10?
It's 9:40. It's 9:48.
Yeah.
Oh, really? My clock is looking.
We got time.
Weird. Oh, I see. I know why. It's because it had the.
Yeah, time is going by fast today.
So we've got other emails. Natasha, I just wanted to see if there's any other things that you wanted us to look at in this email for you.
The take care. Should I put something there?
You can. You know. Here's another thing. Now you bring up a good point about take care. You can have a sign off, if you will. Take care is very. It's very middle of the road, both professional and what's the word I'm looking for? It's both professional and personalized, I guess. I don't think that's the word I was looking for, but it's not too, casual. That's the word I was looking for. It's not too casual. It's casual, but it's not too casual, and it's professional. You could say, take care, talk to you later, or hope to hear from you soon. That you could add that to it. Especially if you're waiting for three answers, right? So you might want to say, looking forward to your responses. And that also reminds the person that you asked questions in your email. Looking forward to your responses, or looking forward to your answers, or looking forward to your input. Okay?
Okay.
And then you don't have to sign off with your name. I know that some people do. Like if we go down to the next one where Andrew did his, he said kind regards, comma, and then he put his name under it. What are your thoughts on that, everybody? Do you think you should put your name?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, they have to know who it's coming from, because if they don't know who it is, they're not going to read it. They'll think it's spam.
Yeah, they can always tell in an email who it's from. Nowadays, with a lot of the Outlook mail programs or other types of email programs, they will always prompt you to put a subject in your email. So you guys understand what a subject is?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they'll say, oh, do you have a subject for this? And it's in response to an email that you received from them. So if I was talking to them about employability skills, that's probably would be in the subject title, or it would be vintage toys or something would be up in that title, and so that subject area, and that alerts the receiving party to who the email is from. But also it shows in the email that you receive who it's from as well. So I think it's just adding a more professional touch to the ending of your email by putting your name in there, but it's not always totally necessary.
It's helpful, very helpful.
Yeah.
If you're looking through emails and you're looking for a specific email.
Right. And again, we're talking about employment and we're talking about on the job skills here. So putting a name in there is more common. If you're just emailing your friends, you're not always going to do that, right?
Right.
Okay. Andrew, let's take a look at yours.
Oh, yay.
All right. I got to see. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can make this.
I can see it pretty well, so.
Yeah.
I can see it pretty good.
Jonathan, John, I'm just going to rely on you. You're going to have to help me out here because I have to take
okay.
All right. So this one says, hi, Pam. Thank you for your reply. EVS stands for Environmental Services, and they are responsible for keeping the hospital clean. Is that in response to her saying, what is EVS?
Yes.
Okay. I found it interesting that you like to ride horses and you like dogs. What is your dog's name? Question mark. So we know there's going to be a response back possibly. At Project Search, I am learning safety in the workplace, the emergency codes that are used at Kaiser. And remember what I said? What would go there, Andrew, after Kaiser?
I mean, sure. I think I did go over it with one of the eyes. I think it was Sue.
Was there a question on whether or not you should put a comma before and?
I don't remember.
Okay, so common now. It's common nowadays. There's a lot of school of thought on when you're listing things like you are. There's kind of a rule of thumb that it's been around is that you could add a comma or not add a comma. Well, that's kind of changed now. Now they're requiring it. They say it's more professional to put a comma in there. So just remember when you're listing things, put a comma before your last listed item, just before the and.
Understood.
Okay. What do you like best about your job? Oh, another question. And what do you think the 3 most important employability skills are? Question. Anybody have any input on Andrew's?
Tyler has his hand up.
Tyler?
The kind regards is in a different font, I think.
It is.
Yeah, it's supposed to, I think.
It is.
No, it's not the.
Do you guys think do you guys think that matters or not? Stefan doesn't. Anybody else?
Nah.
It was a default anyway, so.
It's a default on your email?
That's what Sherry puts there as in bold and all that.
Okay. She usually puts.
Okay. Is that an example? I think he edited her example that I think kind regards is already there. Is that correct?
Correct.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I just wanted to, so.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, you're looking for examples, and that's exactly what you want to do is pull from examples that are out there. I don't think it's necessary to make it bold. Again, what does bold indicate? What does bold lettering indicate, guys? Anybody? Natasha?
That you're shouting.
Yeah, it's more of a bold statement, right? It's when I think of bold letters, I think of bold statement. So we're just putting more emotion into our salutation, right?
Yeah, I mean, for me, whenever I'm doing like all caps, I'm kind of angry at the same time.
It could be read either way, right? So I'd be careful with that. So it's fine either way. It does. Either way could work. And how many questions everybody is Andrew expecting back from Pam?
You mean answers?
Yeah, how many answers? I'm sorry.
3.
Devin? 3. That's correct. Did you say 3? I barely got your hand up there.
No, I did.
Devin, how many?
3.
5.
Yeah, 3. 3 question marks. Now, one of the question marks has 3 most important. So, but ultimately, it's an answer to that one question. So you might have 3 answers, but it's still one. So either way, it's 3 or multiple of more than 3, however the way you look at it. Any changes in there? We don't see any red or green lines, right? So
there's one, but it's not really doesn't matter.
it's not. It doesn't make a big change.
No, just all you need. It's on Andrew's last name.
Yeah, well.
And that's going to happen. Why?
I mean, that's how it's spelled anyway, so.
Right, that's how you spell it?
Mm-hmm.
So then what could possibly be the problem with the red line?
I think it needs to have 2 R's in there. That's why I remember.
No, Royce. That's incorrect.
Yeah, so just remember this, guys. Just remember this. Last names often will give you a red line. Why is that?
Clyde has his hand up.
Glad?
I have an idea of why. I think it's because in Google's autocorrect, like say language, it doesn't register like many last names that are rather foreign or different. So in this case, Andrew's the name Merritt is possibly either foreign or of a different language or of a different descent. And, well,
it doesn't recognize.
My mom usually pronounces it Murray.
Yeah, it doesn't recognize.
So it's kind of French a little bit.
The like Clad was saying, it doesn't recognize the English language anything that's similar to it, and so what it does is it automatically says, oh well, there's something wrong with it. If you try most anybody's last name, if you type in my last name Codner, it'll always come up red because it doesn't understand what you're trying to say.
I think it's because the English language is programmed into the program, so anything different that doesn't understand, there's gonna be a red line.
Yeah. Okay, so Andrew, nicely done. I think most of this is pretty straightforward. You answered a question for her, started out with a salutation. Thank you for your reply. Very professional. Good job.
Try.
This one.
Oh, this one's mine.
Is Clad's. Okay, so here's a first name, Justia, or Justea.
That's how. Well, it's spelled Justia.
Justia, yeah, and so the program doesn't recognize it. They think that it's probably misspelled. They see just, J-U-S-T, which is an English word, but then it's got the EA on the end. They think that something's happened there, so that they're just pointing that out. Thank you for your reply. All of these guys, you started out great. You always are thanking them for getting back to you. I found it interesting that you worked at a pizza place, comma, the environment you mentioned sounds very friendly and casual. Does that sound like a compound sentence? I found it interesting that you worked at a pizza place. The environment you mentioned sounds very friendly and casual.
Andrew has his hand up.
Yes, Andrew.
Yeah, one I'm kind of noticing it's kind of right off the bat as well. A little bit too many spaces, like in between. Like for example, there's one paragraph and the second paragraph.
Between casual and I?
Here.
What are you talking about?
It's pretty much like right here.
At Project Search, I'm learning cleanliness, hygiene, and working efficiently.
Andrew, how did you do that?
I'm on an iPad.
Okay.
Oh yeah, there's some kind of feature here that allows you to use pen on the screen share, like this.
There you go.
You need to teach me that.
See, all you guys are just awesome. I wish I could do that.
That's enough.
You can use it. You can use that. You can use that to point out anything you might see, and it's like say if you have something to highlight on a paper or something, you can always just write that
right here.
Either a pen, highlighter, or
Yeah.
How did you do that? Sorry, I don't mean to.
John, if you want to, I can explain it to you, but it's gonna be kind of hard. But
we can do it later, I guess.
Yeah, like during my lunch break, we
I'll
can
just
Zoom together.
I'll tell him about it during our one-on-one.
Yeah. So anyway, whoops. Boy, that really jumped.
Back to mine.
I was looking at
There you go.
looking for the pen. it got me to thinking I could do that for you guys too. I could point these things out. Thank you for your advice.
Like, for example, like right here is a big gap right
yeah,
there.
and that's fine. I think, me personally, when I'm reading an email that has those gaps, it helps me to break apart what's being said rather than running it all together, especially when you're talking about different things. So literally up here, you could have gapped it out here too.
Yeah.
So that you started over here. So if you're gonna, and that's brings up a good point. If you're following a certain format where you are trying to pull to break things up into paragraphs so that it's easier to see all the things that are being talked about, and you don't have to search for them, that's one way to do that, is to break them out into paragraphs.